Hello. So, imagine it's 1985. I weigh this much, but I'm like 6 inches shorter. And I have rocking the Ogilvy home perm. Yes, it looked good. So it was my favorite time of year. It was June, and we were going to take the annual trip that we take where we drive from South Dakota, where we lived, where I grew up, to Texas to see my grandmother. So it was June and hot in South Dakota, and my mom would load us all up in the car. So we had a blue station wagon with the wood panel siding. Sweet, yes. So we all pile in, and this was the days before click it or ticket. That wasn't a thing. So the fight was not who sits in the shotgun seat. The fight is who gets the way back. That's the fight. So we would all fight over the way back and who got to sit in the way back. So I end up in the way back, which is great because every state you leave, you reach out and you're like, I'm the last person in Louisiana. What? So it starts a fight in the car, which is awesome. You can use that with your siblings. So we're driving, and my mom would stop and give us a couple dollars at the store, which was great. We didn't have a lot of money, and we would, every year, very predictable, get the same things. So I was Slim Jim, Funyuns, Tab, and usually a pickle. Why not? Yes, it's the snack of champions. My brother always got a Yoo-Hoo, which I thought was disgusting, and a Chick-a-Stick. So we are going, and there was no electronics either, right? So I would entertain myself in the way back. If it rained, you could catch 2 raindrops and guess which one was going to win the race, and you could play the alphabet game, and we had a Simon, which on a car ride that's that long, that's great if you know the Simon. Boop, 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 boop. So yeah, so this was the trip. So we took that trip for days, God bless my mother, all the way down to Texas. But we knew that we were going to my entire favorite place in the world, which was my grandmother's house, Leonora Reed. So we would get to Leonora Reed's house where the carpet was striped 70s carpet. One framed picture above the table of a man over a bowl of soup in prayer. I always knew I was at my grandma's house in Houston, which was a huge deal because they had like traffic lights and things that we didn't have in South Dakota. So we would go to her house, and when we went there when I was 10 in 1985, the first day was always very similar. We'd come and she'd say, okay, I'm making surprise milkshakes. That was always the first thing, which is a vanilla milkshake with a maraschino cherry hidden somewhere in the bottom. And I didn't even like maraschino cherries, but that was so awesome. And I wasn't giving my cherry away. So, and then she would say, oh, let's get dressed up, because she loved to go to Sears Roebuck and walk around. So she'd say, let's go, and she'd put on her clear plastic heels, and she would spray her hair with Aquanet, and she would put the cap over her ear so it wouldn't get in her ear, and then she would spray. She went once a week to have her hair set, and then she would sleep with it wrapped in toilet paper, and she wouldn't roll over. Literally, my grandmother for her whole life slept like, I'm sleeping with the hair set. So we would go, and I thought when she put on that red lipstick in the gold tube and her sprayed hair that she was the most beautiful Texas thing I had ever seen. And if I could ever grow up to be her, it would just be a miracle. So she would take us to the store, and when we would get restless, she would open her purse, and it had a little clear coin purse inside with mints in it. And it was just like magical if she would give you a mint out of the coin purse. And she would take us home, and we'd sit on the couch, and she would make chips with Cheese Whiz on them. We didn't have Cheese Whiz in South Dakota. If we did, I didn't get to have it. So Cheese Whiz on the chips, and you'd microwave them. And I would sit with her and eat them on the couch, and she made you feel so special. So I would sit with her, and after her Cheese Whiz chips, she would fall asleep in the afternoon on the divan, she called it. Yeah. You had to go to the commode if you want to take a dump. You sit on the divan. So I would hold her hand. She had thin, thin skin. The veins were showing. And I would hold her hand while she was sleeping. And I can remember just being in awe of her. And she would wake up, and I would say, did you sleep well, Grandma? And she'd say, oh, I'm not sleeping. I'm just resting my eyes, baby. I'm just resting my eyes. And that was the days that we would have. I would offer to do the dishes, and that smell in her house of palm olive, green palm olive, so she always used that. And we'd go to sleep on the pull-out couch. And I have a really, really bad memory, actually. I don't even remember my house growing up in South Dakota. I don't remember what it looked like. But I remember my grandmother's house so vividly. And I still have these moments if I ever, a maraschino cherry, the smell of palm olive, Cheese Whiz, any of these things, and I all of a sudden feel like I'm home.